So this exercise is called the soothing rhythm breathing. And this is essentially a mindfulness of breath exercise with a slight variation that involves, at a certain point, slowing down the breath to bring our body into a more kind of a relaxed state that can be more conducive to self-compassion. This is a little bit different from a traditional mindfulness of breath exercise that would not involve slowing down the breath. So why don't we begin by finding a comfortable yet attentive posture and allowing your eyes to close if that's comfortable for you. And begin by checking in with sensations in the body. Just checking in with what it feels like to be sitting where you are. Maybe noticing particular areas of pressure, or tension, or relaxation. And then allowing your attention to settle on the breath, wherever you're feeling that most vividly right now. Maybe that's the air coming in and out of the nostrils, or the rising and falling of the abdomen. And at this point, you're not trying to change your breath in any way. You're just observing it. You're just kind of letting the breath breathe itself. And throughout this exercise, you may notice thoughts showing up and pulling your attention away from the practice, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, that's very likely to occur. So when it does, just gently notice that your mind has wandered and bring your attention back to the breath. And then on your next natural exhalation, begin to slow down your breathing. You may try counting how long your in-breath is, finding whatever, 3 or 4 seconds, whatever it is for you, and then extend it by 1 second for a couple rounds of in-breath and out-breath. And then seeing if you can extend it another second. So you're gradually slowing the breath down and continuing to notice the sensation of the breath coming in and out. And so at this point, your breath should be a little slower than it was when we started. And your body is likely feeling a little more relaxed and calm. And seeing if you can follow the breath for its entire duration, from the beginning of the in-breath to the pause in between breaths, all the way to the end of the out-breath. And then on your next natural exhalation, you can come back to the room, open your eyes if they're closed. And then just take a moment to kind of check in with what you feel like now compared to just before starting this exercise. And so you'll likely notice that your mind and body are in a bit more of a relaxed kind of state right now. And this really is a helpful exercise to begin any other self-compassion exercise. I started with this because I think it's helpful to practice not necessarily this long, but even for a couple of minutes. It's helpful to practice a couple of minutes of soothing rhythm breathing prior to engaging in another self-compassion exercise. So feel free to utilize this at any point before practicing another exercise. And it's also something that you might want to start practicing in a kind of a regular way. You can find a time, whether that's in the morning, after you wake up, or at night before you go to bed. Find a time that's a time where you can consistently practice an exercise like this. And I'd encourage you to practice this in a kind of a regular way, even if it's for a few minutes at a time. This is really, I'd consider it a foundational skill for self-compassion. It is the mindfulness component to self-compassion that Kristen Neff emphasizes, and I think it's really important and certainly worth practicing. So I'll see you in the next exercise.